Welcome to the Secrets of the Bible channel. With the recent conflicts in Israel, many questions and doubts have arisen, and people have been questioning the identity of the Palestinians. We've received numerous comments inquiring about their roots according to the Bible. As is our custom on this channel, we are introducing the series, The Origins of Peoples According to the Bible, in which we explore not only the biblical references, but also consider history, genetics, and linguistics. In this context, we are preparing a special video dedicated to the origin of the Palestinian people in response to the intense conflicts unfolding in Israel. Many are wondering, who are the Palestinians? Are they truly descendants of Ishmael? So, we invite you to join us for another episode of our series in which we will examine the origins of the Palestinians according to the Bible and other fields of study. Stay with another episode of our series, The Origin of People According to the Bible. In the book of Genesis, chapter 16, verses 10, 11, and the angel of the Lord said to him, I will greatly multiply your descendants, who will not be numbered however numerous they will be. The angel of the Lord also said to her, Behold, you have conceived and will give birth to a son, and you will call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. He will be like a wild ass, his hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility against all his brothers. Presently, many people use these verses to assert that contemporary Palestinians are direct and pure descendants of Ishmael, the son of Abraham and brother of Isaac. This is often cited as one of the reasons for ongoing conflicts in the Gaza region of Israel. However, it's important to question whether this claim reflects reality. The ethnic origin of the Palestinians is much more diverse than most people imagine. In fact, the Palestinian population has a rich mixture of ancestry. In addition to their Arab roots and the predominant Islamic faith, many Palestinians have a significant genetic Jewish heritage from ancient Jews who converted to Islam in the 6th and 7th centuries. The ethnic origins of the Palestinians, as a national group residing in the southern Levant, have been the subject of comprehensive studies, addressing both linguistic and genetic aspects. Furthermore, nationalist ideologies have given rise to many myths concerning this population. It's essential to understand that the Palestinian population, despite being predominantly Arab and Muslim, is not homogeneous. It encompasses significant diversity in terms of religious practices, languages, cultures, and even ethnic groups. The demographic history of Palestine is complex, shaped by historical events, migrations and influences from various imperial powers over the centuries. Wars, uprisings, and religious developments have also played crucial roles in the demographic evolution of the region, influencing immigration, and conversions. With the Muslim conquest of the Levant in the 7th century. The region began undergoing the processes of Arabization and Islamization. This resulted from local conversion and assimilation, combined with the Muslim presence in the region. These factors led to the formation of an Arab-Muslim population, although their numbers were considerably smaller than the region's population at the end of antiquity, from the Middle Ages until the early 20th century. This Arab-Muslim population became the primary religious group in the region. Many Palestinian villagers and notable families trace their origins back to their clans, known as Hamula. These clans were composed of Arab nomadic tribes from the Arabian Peninsula who settled in the region before or after the Islamic conquest. A small number of Palestinian families maintain oral traditions that harken back to their Jewish and Samaritan roots. Ongoing efforts to construct a Palestinian national identity and consolidate national consciousness as the primary basis of identity, as opposed to other prevalent identities among Palestinians, including clan, local tribal, and Islamic identities, have played a significant role in the internal history of Palestine. When examining the complex demographic history of Palestine, it is evident that it has been influenced by various historical events and migrations over the centuries. During the Bronze Age, the region was primarily inhabited by Canaanites, a Phoenician-speaking people. In the early Iron Age, the Israelites emerged as a distinct ethnic and religious group in the region. Unlike the Canaanites, who had Canaanite origins, the Israelites, or Hebrews, had Semitic roots. Notes they founded the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. The fall of these kingdoms to the Assyrians and Babylonians resulted in forced exile to the east. Subsequently, the region came under the dominion of the Achaemenid, Ptolemaic, and Seleucid empires. During classical antiquity, Jews eventually became the majority of the population in Palestine and even enjoyed a brief period of independence under the Hasmonean dynasty. However, the region was later incorporated into Roman rule. The Jewish-Roman Wars, especially the Bar Kokhba revolt, led to the death, displacement, and enslavement of many Jews. As a result, the Jewish population in Judea significantly declined in the following centuries. The region experienced political and economic turmoil, conversions to the emerging Christian religion, and religious persecution of minorities. A Christian majority formed under Byzantine rule due to Christian immigration and the departure of Jews. This era was also marked by conflicts, such as Samaritan uprisings and the conversion of the local population. In the 7th century, Arabs who had adopted the religion of Islam conquered the Levant, and over the following centuries, various Arabic-speaking Muslim dynasties, such as the Umayyad Abbasids and Fats, ruled the region. The population of Palestine decreased significantly over the centuries, falling from around 1 million during the Roman and Byzantine periods to about 300,000 at the beginning of the Ottoman period. Over time, much of the existing population converted to Islam, adopted Arab culture and the Arabic language. It is believed that Arab colonization, both before and after the Muslim conquest, accelerated the process of Islamization in the region. It's notable that a significant portion of the population in the Nablus area of Palestine is descended from Samaritans who converted to Islam. Samaritans were descendants of some Israelite tribes and also had Assyrian origins, as the Assyrians are also a Semitic people. It is unclear whether the conversion to Islam in Palestine occurred before or after the period of the Crusades. Some scholars and experts suggest that Palestine was already predominantly Muslim when the Crusaders arrived. On the other hand, there are arguments that the mass Islamization process occurred later, possibly during the Mamluk period. The Mamluk period is a time in history that refers to the dominance of a dynasty of military leaders known as the Mamluks in various regions of the Islamic world, most notably Egypt and Syria. The Mamluks were originally slave soldiers who became powerful rulers of Islamic states during the 13th to 19th centuries. There are different Mamluk periods in different parts of the Islamic world, but the most famous and long-lasting was the Mamluk Empire in Egypt. In the 13th century, the Mamluks established their own government in Egypt, which became known as the Mamluk Sultanate. The most famous Mamluk leader was Saladin, who reconquered Jerusalem from the Crusaders in 1187 and established a dynasty that would last for centuries. Mamluk rule in Egypt came to an end in 1517, when the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Selim I, conquered Egypt. The Mamluks were absorbed into the Ottoman system but maintained some local autonomy. The demographic composition of Palestine has been shaped by several waves of migration. This includes the Egyptian migration during the reigns of Muhammad Ali and Ibrahim Pasha, as well as the immigration of Algerians after the Abu Khalid uprising in the first half of the 18th and 19th centuries. Later, during the second half of the 19th century, there were migrations of Indo-European peoples to Palestine, including Slavic Bosnians and Circassians. During the 17th century, the population of Palestine decreased and remained between 150,000 and 250,000 people over several centuries under Ottoman rule. Focusing on the origins of the Palestinians, while Palestinian culture is predominantly Arab and Islamic today, many Palestinians identify with the civilizations that inhabited the land of Palestine throughout history. During Ottoman times, Palestinians considered themselves descendants not only of 7th century Arab conquerors, but also of indigenous people who had lived in the country since time immemorial. According to a Palestinian anthropological study, a wide variety of people settled in the Palestine region throughout history and considered it their homeland. This initially included the Canaanites, followed by the Philistines. Later came the Israelites, Hebrews and Edomites, Arabs descended from Esau, brother of Jacob. The Nabateans, descendants of Ishmael, Nebaioth, son of Ishmael, gave rise to this Arab tribe. Arameans, descendants of Aram, also Semites, Romans and Arabs, descendants of Midian. All these groups intermixed over time. It's evident that the Palestinian people predominantly have Semitic origins, both in appearance and genetics, as Semites are prevalent in their ancestry, including Palestinian Arabs and Jews. In recent years, Genetic studies have revealed that, in terms of paternal lineage, the ethnic divisions between Jews and Palestinians are related. The explanation for some Jewish populations sharing genetic similarities with European peoples is related to the fact that in antiquity, Jews mixed with European ethnic groups, such as Ashkenazi Jews, who include descendants of Europeans like Germans. Among others, this mixture over time contributed to the observed genetic similarities. In fact, biblical texts have spoken for millennia that Arabs and Jews are not distant peoples but rather brothers. Genetic studies continue to support this claim. Interestingly, a DNA study conducted by Nebel found substantial genetic overlap between Arabs, Israeli Jews, and Palestinians. Nebel proposed that a portion, or perhaps the majority, of Muslim Palestinians descend from local inhabitants, primarily Jews who converted to Islam after the Islamic conquest in the 7th century AD. In other words, today's Palestinians have diverse ancestry, including Jews, Arameans, Ishmaelites from the Nebaid tribe, Edomites descended from Esau, as well as Canaanites and Philistines. This genetic diversity reflects the complex history of the region. See you soon!